welcome in.
Hey.
We're just getting to the good part. Questions and cats and all that good stuff. But no, we know that Kira won't be here, so we were getting ready to slowly mosey on into the wide width and world of this wonderful motley and all that they have before them. Hey, it's Kira.
It is.
That is interesting.
It's a miracle.
It is.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is it really, though?
It is. I don't know if you noticed or not, but today's 26th. You said you wouldn't be here.
I think that might have been because my schedule might have gotten changed last minute.
Aha. Okay.
Fair enough.
Didn't want you missing work for us. Well, yes, I do want you missing work for us, but it doesn't pay, and we need you to be, support yourself long enough to keep coming back. So, it's a catch-22. If there was just a way we can get paid for doing our hobby 100% of the time, it'd be great.
I mean, I kind of will be.
I thought you didn't want us talking about your illegal pharmaceutical sales and recreational.
No. No.
Shame on you for selling those Adderalls, but also where can I get some?
Right. My project for my internship has tentatively been approved by my supervisor, which is running a role-playing group for veterans.
Oh. Okay.
So I kind of will be getting paid to do my hobby.
Nice. That's always a good thing. Though it is the government, so good luck with that. They'll find a way to screw you. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little. It's fine.
Alright. Now that we the band of the hand has materialized, are there any what questions do we have? And does everyone remember where we were?
I think Harmony was still stuck.
Like the YouTube song? I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. The dream.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Because I have deja vu other times, and I've literally had moments in real life of me sitting there and going, didn't I could have sworn I've had this conversation. So the looping was really fucking with my head, and it had me thinking like, okay, wait a minute, am I having deja vu again? Or have I lived through this? It was just that accurate. So I ended up with a headache before I went to bed because I was freaking out a little bit.
Didn't you already have a headache?
I get them a lot, but yeah, it started, and then that just made it way worse because I was thinking so hard about like, okay, is this real or not? That it just made it way worse.
So, on that topic of like the Groundhog Day thing, I had at one point considered screwing with my my vampire group back when I was still running it to do a Groundhog Loop time kind of day, like kind of episode, except instead of being one episode, it would be the entire season. And the next season, it would just reset to the very beginning of the first season. And they would have to figure out what the hell are they doing wrong that they keep getting set back to this terrible point.
Not even I would try that. That's that's a lot. That's a lot. Wow. Okay.
It never ended up happening, but one day I'm keeping that idea in the back of my mind just in case.
Gonna have an ace in the hole to really rub things in. Like, hey, you guys need to pay attention to this because you're gonna see this again. This will be on the quiz. All right. Alright, let's see here. We go lighten for that one. And then I need to do one small final little tweak on another thing that I'm working on while we're all gathering ourselves in. So while I do so, everyone remembers where we were, so that's not a serious question. But with that sitting on the table before us, are there any suggestions or hypotheses we'd like to have as much clarity as possible going forward? Alright. Well, with that being the case, our lovely silence of understanding and full grasp on where this particular motley is withstanding. And I say thank you all. Over the last few weeks, I've had several off-the-cuff extemporaneous conversations with quite a few other players, both in our play-by-post and live play. There is no amount that I can ascribe to how much this hobby of ours matters and how it can positively and lastingly affect us. So struggling for words to properly express how I have had the opportunity of seeing the positive aspects of our play and how it can leave its mark on the players. Thank you all. This has been a lovely roller coaster ride. This has been the opportunity to get all those lovely endorphins and deal with all those stressful, traumatic subjects that cross our lives in a safe and caring environment. Thank you all. It really does mean a lot. And with my thanks as immortal as always, I'd like to say that this is officially, without the shadow of a doubt, Soup City Sins Obscura, Book 4. We're all the way up to Chapter 3, which means that there is only 2 more chapters left. And tonight's episode is entitled Powers of Thought and Whimsy. When we last left our modeling, when we last left the heroes of our mind and villains of our heart oftentimes, because I don't know about you all, but sometimes looking back at the decisions that we make in accomplishing and overcoming the problems and battles in these characters' lives, as a viewer, listening to it secondhand, there's some moments where I scratch my head and like, oh my god, that was so very cool. What were they thinking? There have been moments where the characters' truth that you all managed to bring to the surface is so palpable as, well, to be truly immersive. And those many moments of second thinking, those other thoughts as to how things could progress, how they had progressed, and what the outcome was, often leaves a world of doubt, a world of considerations, a world of what ifs, what could have been, what led to. And there's no better feeling than getting pulled into the wondrous things that these characters get up to, even as dark of a mirrored world as they exist in, with the real, true, actual, impossible, the unthinkable, the unimaginable vistas that they explore. We left the motley in a similar situation. Some having woken to their momentary reality, some trapped in their immortal dreamings. Another's unsure of which between the two and all the steps in between was the actual factual place of their arrival. Nothing is ever as it seems, because our perceptions changes what that means and what it means to us. The lives of this motley, just like memory, is changed and altered every time they go back to the well. And unlike our dreamings, unlike our musings, unlike our memories, they live there. The weight of emotions is an actual physical thing, a sustenance for them, as much as food and drink. The phantasmal inclinations, the hints and instincts from moments lived carry as much weight as them stubbing their toe or taking a bruise. The crushing weight of the banal is a real and actual thing for them. It is not in their mind. It is not solely in their hearts. They carry all of those things with them forever. All of their doubts becoming actual physical things. All of their flights of fancies giving them the ability and impetus to shake off the bonds of gravity. All of their promises, the letter of the law of their promises, not just the spirit of it, become binding, legally prosecutable contracts. Their negotiations with the world around them, oftentimes requiring diplomats of great skill and lawyers of incredible intelligence. It is a dangerous world being able to dream anything into existence, because just like us, oftentimes their dreams are beyond their control. And so, we'll start seconds, lifetimes removed from where we last left the coterie. Aurora rising in bed, realizing what exactly?
That the clothes that they were wearing in their dream are not the clothes that are scattered about the bedroom. That the sheets aren't the same color sheets she remembers putting on the bed directly herself. And there's like a strange cologne smell, but she doesn't know where the smell is coming from. She doesn't hear anybody else in the apartment, doesn't feel anybody else there.
It's a heady it's a heady thing, not being able to trust your feelings, not being able to trust your thoughts, not being able to trust what you know is fact. You can put your hands on it. Unlike doubting Thomas, even that is not enough to convince you. Yes, there are those wounds from where your master was injured. Yes, those are the eyes that beheld you. Those are the hands that held you and washed your feet. And whereas doubting Thomas was convinced by the physical, the truth of the matter is, in this moment, with that scent in the air, that parfum, that cologne, that is not a scent that you normally allow in your presence, with the sheets having been changed and should have been fresh, by simple fact that they are not the sheets that were here, by the very real feeling of the room sounds being different. Everyone knows what their home, what their living space sounds like. And it's not solely the sound of it, but it's the feel of it. When you walk across your threshold into your space, be it a corner of the office, be it the entirety of your home or apartment, you know with every sense that you are home, that you are for at least a few seconds safe. The hustle and bustle of the world is gone. You get a few moments to decompress and welcome yourself into your sanctuary. But when those sounds, when that feel is different, a little portion of the lizard brain begins to ramp up to high speed. When home doesn't feel like home, then skin that binds you here to this physical plane doesn't feel like yours. When that safety and sanctuary have been ruined or potentially ruined, you go into high alert. You go into fight or flight, oftentimes a combination of the two. Did you leave the window open? Did something get in? Did someone take something? Is something missing? Is there something wrong? The world begins going topsy-turvy, left and right, as you try to figure out what and why. And laying in bed, tired from all of the exertions, the what and the why could be anyone's guess. Because for the first time in a very long time, there aren't party noises. Looking towards your window, you realize that it is hours into the evening. Looking towards your window, you realize that after the conversations, everyone went their own way. You realize that, and that's where things become fuzzy. That's where things begin to lose their way. That's where you are makes all the sense in the world, but how you got here is another matter entirely. And there's a funny thing about how you got here, Harmony. You don't remember. You always know how you do a thing, because the how is oftentimes more important than the why, especially when what you are doing with your lover, what you are doing in approximating a life, there is some aspect of it that is a burden. There's a dishonesty and a disaffection that permeates through it all. There is a sense that there should be more, but there can't be. Who is going to believe that you ceased to be? That you were taken into the land of dreams where everything was possible, including something and many things being impossible. Who would believe that? The first thing they do is lock you away. They put you into a residential program at the very minimum. But just because the masses of the world don't believe it to be true, just because they don't understand the burden and price that you pay daily and nightly, doesn't mean that it is not in fact a burden. Doesn't mean that it is not weighing you down. You want the connection. You need the connection. But in establishing a true tie, a true bond, it is so very many fucking spoons. And you only have forks and knives. Paying the toll, paying the price is not, well, it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be equitable. Because it's asking so very much from you, and you already give so very fucking much. And where are these guys? If you spend too much time alone, you know the darkness that exists there. You know that in the cold of night, in the heart of winter, that giving over to desolate thoughts and depressive actions is, by very extent of what it is, the easiest coin to pay. Giving into the darkly glittering absence of things. Instead of winter being a safe space where life is hidden away, it becomes where life ceases to be. Even predators during the winter know that it is very important to hold on to whatever heat you can, to hold on to that flame of hope, because once it sputters out, the protective cold becomes your tomb. It's a long way round. Harmony with the fresh hot pizza, the beer sitting there on the table. Where and what are you doing?
Am I still stuck in this loop, or?
And there it is. The thought begins to, you've been here for too long. Again and again and again and again. How many times, how many moments, you're not entirely sure. You just know that you are here again, which doesn't make all that much of a issue, because you guys often come here for a taste of home, a taste of welcome. Being here again means very little in the grand scheme of things. They should be here. Weren't they here? Wait, did they leave? When did they leave? You don't remember watching them walk out the door. You don't remember yourself walking in the door either. Remember going to the... Or didn't you or someone go to the window? Wasn't there some trouble out there?
She will lay her hands flat on the table for a moment, close her eyes, take a deep breath, tell herself that she needs to wake up, and as a symbolic part of that, she will stand up and walk for the door.
Sometimes the greatest sacrifice that we can make is doing what we feel may fail. Sometimes it's the act of doing, whether successful or not, that gives us every ounce of victory that we can possibly have. Would you be so kind with the monumental act of the literally disbelieving, because that's what it is in the heart of it. It is the disbelieving of everything that your senses tells you is real. It is the disbelieving that you are not having a psychological breakdown. It is the disbelieving that your darkness has not chosen this moment to assert itself. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your in this particular case, with you already having that bonus of a plus, go ahead and roll your composure plus wits plus word. It is contested because you are fighting directly, not just against your own disbelief, but against the being who started this foolishness. This being who believes that they are the one true way towards bridging the gaps between the banal and the glamorous. And their pool is that was 3. Like a frozen lake being cracked open with the crashing of something heavy, something as heavy as a family member falling on the ice, with a sharp crack that echoes through the pub, with the bartender turning towards you as if seeing you for the very first time, as if you are an interloper here into the hearth and home of the changeling, as if you are a threat to their very survival. You open the door and step out. Amidst the sound of shattering and breaking ice, amidst the glance over your shoulder as the door opens and you're able to step across the threshold, watching the pub freeze over, watching as each person is frozen, each being has their heat sapped away as the world tumbles into shards, and then darkness. A wan, neon-esque light from the keyboard, the computer screen dimmed as low as it possibly can, as he, no, on your left, is speaking, as he's communicating with people hundreds, perhaps thousands of miles away, as they wage war via pixels, electronic signals, as he is engrossed in doing his absolute best to not disturb you as you've fallen asleep there on the futon, as you fairly often do, because sometimes just being close is enough. He doesn't ask for much more than that. He doesn't press or impugn upon your time. The fact that he's willing to take whatever little drops, whatever little dribbles, whatever flows over the edge, and it means so very much to him, is the offensive part of it all. Because the sacrifice from one person to the next in time is only part of the equation. It is the effort. It is the willingness to witness and be witnessed by them. And it's not living two separate lives loosely adjacent. It is not keeping the secret of the world from them. And it's not making them afraid of oversharing, because that means that you're going to shut down, that you're going to close the borders of communication, you're going to lock them out of your nation. And yet, here you are. Yet, here he is. And speaking of here you are, with Kira hovering over you as if she is pulling you from your baptism, as if she has found a way to save your soul from eternal damnation, the look of worry on her face as plain and clear as the bright rays of day. Hazel. Short and sweet, to the point. With that look of concern, with the tangle of blankets and various stuffed things on your bed, what is it that you are doing?
Gonna open her eye just a crack, pat Kira on the cheek, very gently, like very sleepily say, "How long was I asleep?"
Good question. I don't know. I think I only woke up just now myself.
Time is a mutable thing when all of forever spins out in a matter of seconds. Time is a mutable thing when caught in the feeling of a thing. Time is a mutable thing because it is the construct of most things that are banal. Time comes second only to the idea of fire in regards to the greatest technological advances mankind has ever made. Time is in essence a construct. Yes, so many people believe in time and have believed in time, that it itself has a presence in Arcadia. it itself has a presence in the mythologies of the world. Some semblances of gods and their avatars are, in fact, just a time. And the fact that as you look at the clock there on the wall, the old square rectangular thing saved from the trash by Hazel, its bright red slash marks forming the hours, you're not sure if it's accurate. Because the last time you looked at a watch, at a clock, at the passing of time, you all were in the middle of a conversation. And if you're being honest with yourself, when you looked at that clock, when you looked at that watch, when you bothered to jot that down, that should be 2 hours from now or either 14 hours past.
Looks like we both slept a little longer than we probably should have.
Yeah. Great. We have shit to do then. Did that dream keep repeating for you?
Oh my god, I thought that was just me. I was hoping you would say that you didn't have any recollection of that. So that was just all in my head. If that's the case, then... Oh shit. What about Aurora and Harmony?
She will open her other eye and look towards the coffee table that's beside the fold-out sofa and just like flail for her phone for a second. We should call them. She'll look at the date on the phone first.
There is something really interesting about dates and times. There are holidays that have been forgotten by the vast populace of the world that you will have enjoyed across the hedge. What is Hazel's occult?
Is one.
Okay.
But she also... I don't know if it'll make any difference with the hedge sense.
For the holidays that you all celebrate that reach across the hedge,
Or
sure.
Mantle of Three.
Sure, let's go with that. There are certain days, certain holidays that mean so much more to the changeling than they do to the rest of the world. One of them, just one of them, of the many major four, is March 20th. It is the first day of spring. It is when the power of winter has officially been broken. It's the start of the pre-summer, as you all are often fond of saying. That shouldn't be, well, that shouldn't have been for another 3 weeks. But yet here it is. bright and true, and now
she will somewhat startedly like sit up straight. I don't, maybe knocking Kira back a little bit, headbutting her. I don't know. 3 weeks?
We've been dreaming for 3 weeks? Is that what you're saying?
He will flip the phone around so Kira can see the date as well. Yes?
Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Do you want to call Aurora or Harmony?
I'll try calling Harmony, you can try calling Aurora.
Okay. Great. I need coffee.
I need something to eat. I haven't eaten in 3 weeks.
Some say that, manja, you need to eat, there's always time, but there's something strangely alluring and sickening about what pops into your head. Pizza is always great. You can have it cold, you can have it fresh, piping hot from the oven, burning the roof of your mouth. You can have it nearly room temperature where it's cooled off enough where the cheese stops bubbling and the sauce is no longer molten lava. And it's still good. You can make sandwiches out of pizza. You can roll and fold pizza. You can have pizza at any hour of the day or night, and it's perfectly fine. And as warming as the idea is, in one hemisphere of your mind, your stomach responds as if you've just decided to punch it repeatedly.
Hazel, food, now.
Okay. Food then call. Breakfast? Shit, if we've been asleep for 3 weeks, the groceries probably aren't any good anymore.
Do we have any frozen pizzas?
Probably.
I'm gonna make one and snack on whatever I can find while it's cooking.
The banal realities of groceries and preservatives in modern America is no laughing joke. Food is strangely modified to the point where it can, and often does, last longer than it has any right to. But even still, fresh food respirates. Meat still ages in the freezer. So heading to the refrigerator expecting the larder to be all but empty, there is a small bit of annoyance. There's your fresh obtained cherry pomegranate juice that you know for a fact goes absolutely rancid 6 1/2 days from it being open. The lid isn't on, meaning that, as per usual, Hazel, in the middle of one binge or another, has taken a sip directly from the jug, meaning that you know it should be bad at 3 weeks on, yet it doesn't have any of the crust. Nothing's floating across the top. There is the very real scent of it mingling with all of the leftovers. There's the Mediterranean that you got from Riza's. There's the burger that you all occasionally fall back to because the burgers are so large you can cut it in half, and both of you all have a third of a pound sandwich to eat. There's the french fries that are fixed Grecian style with feta cheese and a little oil and garlic and various other herbs and spices that makes it taste as if it's dried tzatziki on them. There is the water jug at the top right back of the first shelf that you all have to do a small little song and dance to make sure that either of you or both of you refill the cold water in the space, and it's 3/4 of the way filled. No ice, even though anything at the top back corner gets colder faster and often freezes before you get a chance to truly enjoy it. There's the fact that you have butter, and you only have butter, fresh-ish butter, when you are making pancakes, and you buy it the day of so that it doesn't go bad, so that it doesn't get forgotten and get that little small thin yellow film across the top, because you still haven't quite figured out how to keep it properly fresh with that stupid paper that they wrap it in, almost as the paper helps it respirate faster.
So what you're saying is, the food's still good.
Yes. That is definitively one way of looking at things. And as you ponder that, speaking of looking at things, even with the negotiations that you made, even with the fail-safes that you put into place, there's a natural inclination for people to be nosy. It is no small town, but Hyde Park is a city unto itself, a city within the city, much like all of the other neighborhoods and sides of town here in Chicago. If you're not seen, people will begin to look. They walk by where you normally are. They may incidentally happen to text you or butt dial you accidentally. There are signs that you, and clearly others, have been relatively active in your apartment, Aurora. As you try to parse and find where that small, distressed uneasiness lives. Still there in bed, taking in your surroundings, trying to see them as they've always been and notice any small change, notice any apparent clue that there's a reason to run screaming or otherwise leave. And yet, all looks very much as if you've just had one or two, maybe more, small benders, small moments where you were able to party.
That's kind of concerning for her, because normally, as much as she loves joy and the pursuit of joy and the somewhat abandonment that occasionally comes with joy, she's not reckless with it, usually. She drinks, but it's never to the excess that she doesn't remember. There's not usually this, why can't I remember feeling? There's usually not this, I don't know what happened thought to her. There's usually not this disquiet of what's going on around me because I don't know. It's almost, yeah, it's really bothering her, because she gets up and she's like pacing and looking for anything that makes sense as to put together however long this has been and what may or may not have happened and who's been in and out of her place. Like, those are things she feels like she absolutely has to figure out right now. And then she just remembers the fish and goes to check on the fish because they need to be fed ever so often. So it's slowly trying to put her life back in order for what she can remember.
It's amazing the huge amounts of joy, happiness, and stability from the smallest of things. You go and lift up the seasoning-sized bottle of fish flakes. You know you can't overfeed them because then they won't eat it all and it films up and you gotta clean the tank and it's a huge investment. So you, by touch, can tell how soon you need to go purchase more fish food. Now, you having lost a semblance of time, unsure as to how much has transpired, that means that you weren't cognizant, which means this jar should be fresh and new. But when you lift it up, there's a significant amount of weight missing. There's a significant amount of flakes missing, meaning that the fish, who are happily blubbering and chasing and playing with each other in an attempt for cannibalism, have been fed. They aren't starving. None of them are floating in the wrong direction. In fact, as you get near that tank, as per usual, they swim right up to the glass as if they can see through it accurately and can tell the difference of you or anyone else. They bob and blubble and all but dance as you approach the aquarium, which lets you know that you have in fact been feeding them regularly, or someone has, because they're their happy, healthy selves.
As weird as it sounds, that almost gives her a nauseous feeling. She's happy that they're happy, but the fact that she feels like there shouldn't have been as much time passed, or that just the feeling of the fish flakes in her hands is too light for what time she believes has passed, is making her literally want to run to the bathroom and throw up. And then she sees her phone, grabs it, and looks at the date.
While the Hyde Park coterie, while the Hyde Park motley, while the Hyde Park gang, and more times than not, do not involve themselves in big shows of court, the many intrigues and plots and plans and the parties and celebrations and the fealty of paying energy towards someone else's goals and someone else's dreams is not typically what you all do. But there are still days. There are still high holy days that stand resolutely above all of the others, where even the apolitical show face, where even those who are not prone to the many courtly intrigues of the freehold as a whole, in observance of all that has come before and the passing of one scepter to another throne, will pay their respects. The 3 days of change from winter to spring, with the 20th being the highest and holiest of those 3 days of celebration and enlivening the promise that life goes on, with the changing of the courts, the changing of who sits upon the throne, the changing of which council has the loudest, most respected voice. It is that day, it is that night, it is that time. Spring is ascendant. Winter is officially passing control of the freehold over. And even as that is officially celebrated, there are gatherings out there in the night. There are motleys who are engaging in games of this or that. There are various other events that happen on these nights, these many nights that happens 4 times a year. This is one of those moments. This is the time for rebirth.
It makes it worse that she's of the spring court, so this would be really, really important to her. I think that thought would push her over the edge, and she would race to the bathroom.
Taking flight is not an easy thing. It's an often done thing, but it's not easy. Most assume it is just put your head down and move in a direction that you begin to fall. And mechanically, that is in fact what happens. But being able to cover that distance with the bubbling and the building of the pressure needing out is not an easy thing. And as you sit there and listen to him all but whisper, yell, left, 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 on your left, it makes you want to reach through the electronic screen to whoever he's playing that silly game with and get them to understand the difference between their right and their left. Of course, that beggars a question. Is it the left that he sees in his screen? Or is the left that they see in their screen? And the fact that they are hundreds, potentially thousands of miles away, are they in fact seeing the same screen? Is there a world between them where they are opposites of one another, or are they on the same side? All of those questions begin to percolate and bubble, because for all of the many bubbling thoughts and considerations, Harmony spent too long as an avatar of war. Harmony spent too long in the service of Winter's court, even here on this side of the hedge, to not begin to tactically break down situations, to not attack and be the avatar of bravery on the field, giving everything for the person next to you to defeat the enemy. And as she sits here in the quiet, glowing room, his voice bouncing off the walls, even though he's directing it into the mic that's hanging from the headset on his head, those considerations abounding. By sheer will, you were able to escape. And by sheer understanding, you realize that someone else, something else, was desperately working against you.
That'll just make her irritably angry. She will kind of swallow all that for the moment, even though it continues to play in her mind, and she'll sit up and look at Thomas.
His first response when you move is to lean forward and push one of the earpieces from his ear, and he turns to you. His frantic motions on the keyboard and the mouse ceasing. And he looks over at you expectantly, hopefully, a light smile playing at the corner of his lips, a brow raised. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up. Go back to sleep. It's fine. Can I get you anything?
No, I'm good. How long was I asleep?
Just a couple of hours. You never sleep this long, but I was willing to let you sleep. You seemed like you needed the rest.
Maybe, but I'm alright. She'll stand up and go make herself a drink.
A few hours. Yet as you move into the kitchen to get a glass and begin looking for a bit of sustenance, it is impossible to not feel it. That pressure differential that happens as the seasons change. Intrinsically linked to the land and in the full seat in the court that holds the highest, strongest sway. There is an immediate pressure differential when you move into the kitchen. Always at a comfortable temperature. Constantly adjusted by him to keep it perfectly comfortable for you. There's always the warming of the kitchen. He spends a lot of time there when he's not in the office. He's always cooking something or preparing something. And it heats up first. Much like in homes of old, the hearth was the center of the home. And because of those dark old days, many people still to this day make the kitchen the center of their home. The kitchen is where conversations are had, early morning phone calls that wake you up at 2 or 3 in the morning often resolve themselves in the kitchen. Midnight snack, even if it's had at 5 in the morning, happens in the kitchen. All of those heart-to-heart talks that take place on all of those sitcoms have an essence of truth to them. Even now with central air and heat and radiant heat and ductless heat and all of the many technological advances, the kitchen is always the center of the home. And that spirit, that essence, that differential is felt across her skin.
Pour herself an orange juice, bask in the heat for a moment, and then return to the other room to sit next to him and lean her head against him.
There's a rush to connect. Because no one likes being alone. Even in their own mind, we create and absorb the voices of those that we've encountered, be they for good or be they for ill. we absorb all of those things that keep from being alone, because we are stronger together than we could ever hope to be singly. As strong as each and every one of the changelings, as strong as and powerful as each and every mortal is, as strong and powerful as the mightiest of Arcadians might ever be, the keepers, they are stronger together. The parts that they are missing, filled by the parts of others. And in this moment of connection, as much work as it is to honestly connect, as much work and effort as it is to build and maintain that connection, in the simple comfort of him ending his pleasures, his hobby, the moment that you lean against him, the moment that you offer him the smallest bit of warmth, it doesn't melt the ice around your heart. It doesn't have you knock down all of the walls that have spent eons building. But it does let you know that you are seen, that you are not alone, that the witnessing of your existence is intrinsically valuable to him, more so than all of the many vistas, electronic and otherwise, that he would rather or otherwise experience. There's a lot said in silence. And as you all watch his team get rowdy, as you all watch the replay together in the cool electronic light, there is, without a shadow of a doubt, connection. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your presence plus your word, please.
Well, at least I got a Yahtzee.
The ugly truth is that we have an expectation as to what's right. And right, just like our personal truths, for us, change and adapt and shift. And the idea of what was right, the idea of what is right, mutates with age, mutates with experience. And you're sure that there is something happening out there that is reverberating in here. But the what remains hidden. And speaking of hidden, as you all look at the lovely, freshly obtained groceries filling the refrigerator, as if you've all been having a high old time going about your day to day, there's no hiding from one another nor from yourselves the troubling aspect of that. Everyone has read comic books or magazines or blog articles or vlogs from YouTube or what have you pertaining to sleepwalking and other things. Finding out that, or seeing the evidence that you specifically were operational or may have been while you weren't there is, well, not the easiest thing to come to grips with.
Hazel, I think we were sleepwalking. Or sleep living. Sleep shopping. Sleep something.
What?
The food is fresh.
That's not right. She'll hop up and jog over to the refrigerator and peek in.
It's absolutely horrible, Kira says as she's munching on a fresh piece of bread that she covered in some jam.
Mellow yellow, unbeknownst to the vast majority of the public, sells their fresh baked bread. Now, while it's fresh baked, it's not quite the same as what most people assume. They do purchase their unrisen and sometimes occasionally risen dough, and they bake it in house. Part of their baking is the application of various seasonings to the crust of the bread, turning what would normally otherwise be a standard slice of white or rye or wheat into something artisanal, because they reproof and they slather and cover and reproof. So it's almost as if it's a twice baked potato in bread form, and they sell just the bread, and it lasts. You have an easy 10 to 12 days to munch to your heart's content. And it's absolutely delicious. And the fact that you have mellow yellow bread, so you all know that as they move through their week, the price goes down every day until they can no longer sell it safely and it still lasts in your homes. It's fresh. And delicious.
This is terrifying, but also delicious.
Hazel is going to check in file G for garbage for the receipts for grocery shopping to see when this happened.
It is a very old trick, and one of the many things that was one of the battlegrounds during her heyday of both unlicensed and licensed investigating and helping her boss, both privately and professionally, trash was one of the most telling aspects. Has always been a problem in areas where there are building associations or homeowners associations, because they're mandated to keep their trash off of the public thoroughfare except for when it's time for trash to be picked up. So the garbage cans are always rolled into garages or in walkways between the building and the garage, or sometimes kept inside the building until it's time for the trash to pick up, until it's time for them to roll it into the alley for the city to come along and pick up the trash, which made getting those details oftentimes, for some cases, horribly problematic, because you had to break and enter to get to the trash, which otherwise, if it had been left in the alley, would be up for grabs. She doesn't miss those days. And she also didn't find any receipts. Much as if she was aware. Because while she does keep her receipts, because, well, some receipts you can get reimbursed from, you can make a few pennies here, you can save a few here. The fact that there aren't any receipts, the fact that there aren't any huge amounts of trash left over, none of the scribbled notes that often find their way out of the way, none of the daily logs of things that she's experienced. And she realizes, if today really is the 20th, means that they've already had their weekly argument about who gets to toss the trash out. They've already discussed who has to get everything to the trash chute. And the fact that there's a fresh plastic bag from the Serta Saver over on Lake Park, 48th to be exact, means that you've all emptied the trash. Just as if you all would after your weekly argument as to getting rid of things.
Apparently we took the trash out too.
Kira, you hate taking the trash out because every time you take it to the trash chute, there's no way that no bad story doesn't begin with that. You see it in your head every time. The tall Wayne redhead makes her way down the dark hall, and as she opens the door to the trash chute, he was inside, waiting as he'd already. And it goes through your head, the variations on that theme consistently of that opening of that story. Because coming from where you all come from, you understand that the power of words and the power of thought can be just as destructive as helpful. And horror movies, horror stories are powerful. People put their hopes, their dreams, their fantasies, ideals, their fears into them. And you two are changeling, which naturally attracts those things. It naturally pulls you into someone else's story, especially if you're not being careful. If you're not shielding hard enough behind the wall of glamour. If you're not fed properly enough to be protected and shielded, it will happen. It's just a matter of time.
So you're telling me we even sleep argued?
It seems so.
Yeah. So if you're still trying to find out when all this was bought, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should check our credit card statements. See if there's anything on that.
Did you forget I pay cash for pretty much everything?
Yes, I did. Damn it. Alright, oh, there goes that idea. Any luck getting in touch with Aurora?
No, I was about halfway dialing the number when we had this little grocery incident. She'll go put on a pot of coffee. I don't even know. But yeah, here, let me call her up.
Okay. I'll keep getting the pizza ready.
Okay. There'll be coffee in a few minutes. And she'll go back to her little sofa, push it up so it's a place to sit now, and call Aurora.
While not a social media influencer, not someone who lives their life surfing the waves of electronic seeds, it's force of habit that the phone is there. Why are you wearing these shorts to bed? That makes no sense, as one after another bit of substance comes pouring up and out of her mouth. The plop of one huge gulp of stomach contents after the next shows that, well, at least she's eating. Dry heaves are far worse. And the tears and the acid in the nose and all of that still in place. Her phone going off angrily in her pocket, reminding her that there's a world outside of her, one that she's been experiencing.
She is going to do her best to wipe her mouth. Nobody's going to smell her breath because nobody's there. And swipe answer on the phone, sounding probably absolutely coarse and horrible. Because everybody has their own ringtone, so she would probably recognize which ringtone it is.
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
A minute. Give me a second. Somebody's been feeding my fish. And these are the wrong
Someone's been buying
sheets.
our groceries.
What the fuck? Tonight's spring,
Yes.
and I have to be there, but I don't know what's wrong. I feel like the whole world's upside down right now, and I don't like it very much.
It seems kind of like we've been sleepwalking.
Oh, you know how scary it is to smell male cologne in your house, and you don't remember who it belongs to. And it's not even good cologne, it's fucking cheap body spray. What the fuck?
You can't hear it, but I'm making a face.
Sleepwalking me is making horrible life decisions, and I don't like it.
Apparently our life decisions over here are living life like normal. But that's interesting. So you're what? That's
And then there was like the slight sound of water running and splashing, and then she kind of walks out of the bathroom.
We are about to have something to munch on because we are hungry. But once we're done, do you want us to come over and keep you company, or would you rather come over here?
I think they have maybe a little more space than you guys do, and I need to not be alone right now because I don't know if the person that belongs to that cologne is gonna come back.
Alright. Well, as soon as we're done eating, we will be on our way. We just put it in, so give us an hour? You want to keep the line open until then?
No, we need to find Harmony. She's probably going through this too, and I don't know if I'm making a life decision. She has a boyfriend, so I don't know what the fuck she could be getting up to.
It's all good. Kira is calling her while we talk, so we'll yeah. I guess we will all meet at your place in an hour-ish. Well, I don't know about Harmony. She might be. I don't know. But yeah, Kara and I will be there in about an hour.
Okay. Sounds good. I gotta get my... hold on. And then she hangs up and runs to the bathroom again.
She'll meander back over to the kitchen-ish area, pour some coffee. So it sounds like Aurora is taking this worse than we did. Apparently she had a man over.
Oh, God.
But we're gonna munch and go. So if you want to, I don't know, grab a quick shower or something.
Yeah. While it's doing that, let me see if I can call Harmony.
All right.
There is something there's something that makes it difficult to not collect things. It has always been the case. If you look back to Mount Vesuvius or in any other social area, humans, and by extension changelings, collect things as a matter of cause. Things just fall into pockets, things take on sentimental values, and in the modern era, what that means more than anything else is the phone going off at the least suspected moment, because we've connected contacts, connections, and ties to others. And as you and he, are engaged in a camaraderie quiet moment, and it's clear that the licking of lips and the light inhalation of air, there's something in the offing, something being said, something that's going to, and then your phone goes off. Do you have a particular ringtone for your modeling?
Probably not.
So it
Her
is.
phone is old. She probably just has a standard ringtone.
So it is the standard Hello Moto ring. Hello Moto. Hello Moto. Hello Moto. Going off, on and on and off and off and on and on and off and off and on and on. And he literally just looks at you. I guess that's work.
If I ignore it, it'll probably stop.
It hasn't this entire week. But
What do you mean?
you've just been busier than usual. Which is saying a lot for you. That's the reason why I was willing to let you sleep as long as it takes. You did tell me to wake you up an hour ago. But let me get you a bite to eat and give you a few minutes with your phone. And he gets up and slinks away. You're gonna hear him puttering around the kitchen.
She reaches out and grabs her phone and just answers it with a heavy sigh.
Hello, Harmony.
What's up?
We've been asleep for 3 weeks and someone has been buying our groceries.
I think I've seen you since 3 weeks ago.
Wait, so you've... I'm sorry, were you not in this whole, like, repetitive dream thing?
Yeah, I had that too, but according to my whatever he is, I was only asleep for a couple hours.
Check the date on your phone.
We'll do that.
One of the many things that you hate and despise, because there's the understanding of the aphorism that all's fair in love and war. But for the court, the only court that matters, for them to maintain their power year-round, they engage in outright warfare, social warfare, masked in camaraderie with the other courts. As they change hands, the only court that actually has any standing or any ability to hold them off from being completely in control is the summer court. The spring court keeps the keepers at bay because of the promise that they have to declare their actions before following through. That gives you all the time in the world to plot, plan, and get everyone in the right place. The court to get everyone in the right place. But on days like this, it is an active act of theater. The changing of power. The face changes, but the winter courts, their spies, their agents, their leaders, their knights are still in full control. But you all have to lie to your kin. You lie to the only people that have a similar understanding and a similar past as you all on nights like tonight.
So what does the date say?
March 20th.
Does that correspond with a 3-week loss in time?
Just about. Just about perfectly. Syncs up.
Huh, she says. When I woke up,
Yes.
I asked him how long I'd been asleep because I don't normally fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah, I think we've all been sleepwalking for the last 3 weeks. Which is really, really weird to think about, that we've all kind of lived our lives without actually living our lives.
That almost seems easier.
In a morbid way, yes. Yes, that would be easier. But putting aside that uncomfortable thought, we're gonna be meeting up at Aurora's place in about an hour to kind of figure all this stuff out and see what we missed and what to do about what the fuck just happened. So, see you in an hour?
I suppose.
Great. Yeah. So, that's it. See you soon?
In an hour.
Alright. Stay safe. Don't fall asleep again. Click.
Everyone talks about or uses the phrase, the elephant in the room. Something so ridiculous, something so large, something so clearly obvious that it's more painful not addressing it than it is to ignore a huge thing grown in the center of the room. Something that obfuscates the view, that blocks all the angles, and most importantly, stands in front of the TV so you can't find your favorite show. And as the motley gathers their strength and takes their sustenance and prepares for guests to arrive and finds a way to extricate themselves from a comforting, emotional moment that is in fact a rarity. It is 4 after the hour. Must be back at 14 after. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Soups Citizens Obscura. I'm your host, Jay Easy, and we now will turn towards Kira with her jam and rye bread recipe. We understand that it's a family secret.
Yes, the jam secret is passed down from generation to generation, beginning with my great-great-great-grandmother. God rest her soul. Shame what happened to her. Please don't. I need you to finish that story.
No, dying, no, not right now. Not right now. Soon, yes, of course. But not right now. And we're back?
Yep.
See.
Alright. An hour is a long time for most people in today's day and age, and it has been for several quarter life crises over the last few generations. An hour is an immeasurably long portion of your free time. An hour is, well, it's only 60 minutes. However, 60 minutes of waiting, 60 minutes of travel, 60 minutes of anything seems impossible. Impossibly long, and gives way to all sorts of frustrations and worry. Yet, most of us can sit down and watch several hundred hours at one single go. But the moment you have to wait, the moment you have to put off, the moment that there's anything that doesn't happen immediately that you're waiting for, and an hour becomes forever. By extension, the same thing happens for our motley. In that hour, an innumerable number of small hiccups and issues and frustrations occur. Life of the dream speeds into reality. The building super, as Kira and Hazel are leaving, reminds them about the trash chute. Someone left the door open again, and some of the kids from the neighborhood got into them. And just make sure that you close all the door to the trash chute closet, or otherwise you're going to have to start bringing everything down. And on the way out, Harmony has to deal with the fact that her other half, her touchstone to humanity, had prepared a meal. And it's not even the fact that it's a meal, it's the fact that he was able to, in a few moments, prepare a sumptuous little bit of a snack for her, even though the truth of the matter is, looking in his face, he expected her to leave. He let her sleep because it gave him the opportunity of being with her longer and peacefully with her. The minor slights, the minor walls built were not and are not in the way in those moments, and so he was cherishing it at cost. And the sumptuous snack is a reminder of that. Because instead of bringing it to her on a tray or on several plates, or it's already packed to go in an igloo lunch bag. He knew she was leaving. And the dread in him didn't allow him to sit still and appreciate what time he had already spent. The dread caused him to, send her with a small token of his appreciation of her. And in that hour, several trips back and forth to the restroom, several tidying up and spraying and making sure nothing splashed up and onto the floor, and making sure that her breath was not revelatory into how she spent her time. And then the clogging above her, her neighbor upstairs, moving to and fro, moving furniture. And while there aren't any sounds of a party in the offing, there's clearly more than one person upstairs, which causes Aurora's teeth to be set on edge. It causes a aggression to begin to well up. The thought of her upstairs neighbor angering her in a way that shouldn't be possible. Yet it is. And while she doesn't hear the cats out back, while she doesn't have any yowling to complain about, even the initial thought of them causes her blood to boil some. And then there's a knock at the door. And it's Hazel and Kira and Harmony with a relatively, for her height, large lunch bag. The sort of thing that, if it was made out of metal, would remind you of the lunch boxes that you've seen on those old black and white of construction workers building towers through New York and Chicago, sitting on I-beams stretched across the sky with various things inside. And like that, the band of the hand is struck up. All the players in their places. All the lines to be spoken into existence. having arrived, what is it that we all discuss?
I don't know if they've ever been inside her apartment before, or this version of her apartment before, because they were in her old apartment, but not this one.
Yeah, we've been to the new one.
Very much comfy furniture, shelving, lots of underwatery stuff. She just kind of lets everybody in and motions to the chairs, looking less than her normal, cheerful, well-made-up self.
Hello.
Hey,
So it's been an interesting few weeks, it seems like.
I'd have been happy to stay willfully ignorant.
So, was I the only one that tuned about that hot guy that Harmony was talking to in the bar? And then there was dinosaurs or something, and we had to check outside. And then you, Sakira, said something about a mirror. And then I couldn't read what was on Hazel's shirt. And then I kept hearing the same stupid Evanescence song over and over and over and over again.
I'm glad I don't remember that part.
Then I had a really fabulous outfit, but I knew it wasn't really mine. So that is what made me think something was wrong. And then our table was wrong. And then we were at a booth, and then we're back at a table. And then the table wasn't level, and then I woke up.
About the same thing. Just pushing on it. This isn't right. But yeah, pretty much the same. This may sound like a strange question considering, but like, have you looked at your bank account to see like how much money you've spent over the last 3 weeks? I would, but I just pay cash for everything, so I don't really have a bank account so much.
Oh shit. And then she hurry ups and opens up her banking app to see, because apparently this other Aurora, whoever was living her life, seems like the wild and crazy impulse person, and maybe that outfit she saw in the dream is actually in her closet and she doesn't know it.
It is so much worse. There's been influxes of cash. There have been large debits of cash. And there's a very, very telling debit. The sort of purchase that you think twice for, even in a dream. The fact that the purchase seems to be a bar tab at the succubus. Not once, but 3 times. The bracing splash of icy cold water with that sitting there in your statement. It is the fact that's sitting there in your closet with a little gift card attached as an unopened ensemble that you've worn because you remember wearing it in the dream.
Oh no. Oh no. Either I've become an escort, or somebody's giving me money and I'm spending it. This is fucking ridiculous. And she, hold on, and she runs into her bedroom and grabs the outfit out of the closet and runs back out and shows it to him.
Harmony will just quirk a brow at this behavior.
Hazel will look at it like, yes, that is an outfit.
She flips over the price tag.
That is an expensive outfit.
That is an extremely expensive outfit.
Good for you, girl.
No. Bar tab at the Succubus. 3 bar tabs at the Succubus. High-end bar tabs at the Succubus.
Damn, you're really living it up.
Clearly, someone has had an enjoyable time.
I'd be fine if I could remember it, but I can't remember it, and I don't have money to be living like this.
Clearly you do.
And out of nowhere, she does the weirdest thing where it probably wouldn't be that weird. She starts feeling at her neck.
Uh-oh, when the storyteller does that, you know something bad's about to happen.
There's some
You have no
truths.
neck.
There are some truths you should never embrace lightly. And there are some truths that are unavoidable all the same. When vampires sink their fangs in and lick the wound closed, the damage is still there. The endorphins released mask that pain as well as the details of those moments. However, and the problem being, changelings heal very, very quickly. They can even force their physical form to reknit sooner with a little effort, a little investment of glamour. When vampires feed on their victims, all of the pleasure centers of the mind explode into crystal clarity, which is in fact one of the most dangerous things for changelings seeking to hide what they are from those things out there in the night, out there in the wild, untamed vistas of imagination that would home in on them like heat-seeking missiles. The last time Aurora was cognizantly aware of all of the unbridled, untamed passions of pleasure coursing through her from spending time at the Succubus, she stood unmasked. This time, having been lost in dream, having been given over to all of the unconscious pleasures of that. The moment she touches her neck, it is a fight. It is an effort to to not be swept along with all of those lived and unremembered moments, all of those nuclear explosions of pleasure. Would you be so kind as to roll your resistance for me? And depends on how or if you are attempting to not allow those moments to show on your face as brief flickers and glimmers of the fugue state that happens when everything goes off at once. Would you seek to maintain your composure and keep from revealing that much to your motley? Or would you not try to hide that joy, those pleasures untold?
Aurora's, if she's caught off guard with it, there is no hiding that. There is no hiding that. She just kind of knees knocked together, collapsed to the floor, eyes roll back, noises made.
All right.
Clearly, like an enjoyable time.
That being the case, Aurora, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your presence plus expression as high as you can. In the doing, Harmony, Hazel, and Kira, while you all can't feed point for point from the glamour release, would you be so kind as to roll your own composure plus either empathy or socialize to resist the unbridled release of glamour in that moment. It's not glamour in its purest form, so it would be what you'd absorb would be Aurora's composure minus whatever the result is, unless of course you purposefully resist.
I got a 1.
Oh, so resistance is almost a guaranteed easy for you all. But yeah, you don't have to resist. You don't have to be swept along. You can sip and take just a little of the unreleased, unvarnished essence of those moments, all coming back to her in brief, flickering glimmers of release. Her skin becoming diaphanous, her soul emitting a warm glow through the room, the scent and feel of pleasure gently caressing your skin. You can almost hear their voice as she is overcome with memories lived but unremembered. You can almost see them, tall, dark, and dangerous. Lots of immature, innocent exchanges of touch. The giddy butterfly in the stomach from holding hands the first time to realizing that you are something and someone worthy of someone else's attention. And not just their attention, but their adoration. You are capable of holding and experiencing the love that comes from being witnessed, from being seen. All of those firsts emotionally, all of those heady, overwhelming feelings buffeting the skin. You get a chance to be innocent and new and first blush of love and lust and all of those heady, dark things that come. Or you can just shut down your like closing a book and not allowing it to touch you in the least. So decision time. Do you all sip lightly and sample as if it's a charcuterie board or a poo-poo platter of the most delectable of sweet, savory things? Or do you all shield against the bombardment of all of that heady, heavy first?
Kira will shield.
It's not really Harmony's
Hazel says,
flavor.
no, thank you.
No veggies for me! Everyone closes down. Unfortunately for Aurora, she doesn't get that option. Brief flickering bursts, all of those very addicting chemicals the body releases in those moments, washing over her and causing her mask, her mien, to slip into view. She is, in fact, water. The very essence of it. The very spirit of one of the more powerful elemental aspects of the world. Because while water does not always crash, it does not always immediately obliterate everything it touches, eventually water will have its way. And while it seems to fill and become whatever it is in, water will always have its way. Water cannot truly ever be tamed. It goes where it wants, it finds its level, and it makes sure that everything else along its way over time becomes as it chooses and seeks it to be.
Well, clearly she's glad we're here.
This is a little awkward.
Manages to come back to herself just a little bit. Eyes completely glazed over. Vampires.
Maybe we should come back later.
Clearly, someone is having a good time.
No, you don't understand. He thinks I'm pretty. And he's very pretty. I've never felt anything like this before. It's amazing.
Does it pretty or just that you're yummy?
Believe me, I understand.
Is there a difference between pretty and yummy? Or pretty yummy?
So, what's happening? Why is she like this?
You know, sometimes you like smell something and it reminds you of something that happened even if you don't have a distinct memory of it.
Yeah.
That.
Maybe she's a
But
trauma
without the
victim.
scent.
I mean, I like it when people touch my neck too, but holy shit.
Not just my neck. Sorry. She's wearing shorts, but she kind of points to the inside of her thigh. And then she's looking at her wrist too. And if you're paying attention, it's all of the pulse points.
Wasn't that guy with the mullet, was it?
And then the scent. The scent by itself you find absolutely odious. Because even with men, their sweat mixes with the parfum, the cologne. It becomes part of them and mixes with their natural body odor to create a different version of itself. Yet on him, the relatively inexpensive body spray doesn't have any of the other pollutants to it. With him, the scent is crisp and clear. It's a little drier than expected, but there's no other pollutants, so you get a chance to... Oh, fuck, you think, as you realize the scent that's in your bedroom.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh,
I think we figured out who her gentleman caller is.
Oh, he knows where I live.
Aren't you supposed to, like, not invite them in?
I think she was persuaded. They might have been very persuasive.
Oh, God. And she's gonna fall backward on the floor dramatically.
She seems to be susceptible to persuasion.
And to falling on floors.
Right.
Hey, don't kink shame her.
So, Hazel is going to, I presume there's like a mirror or something in the living room.
Yeah, there would be one above the couch, and it's one of those little mirrors that has a frame, but then inside the frame there's other different colors across the mirror that make it look like it's stained glass, but it's not stained glass.
Okay. And refresh my memory, was there a mirror behind the bar that Hazel was at the Succubus Club?
Yes.
Would it be safe to see that she saw her face in that mirror?
Yes.
Okay. So she is going to use this mirror that's available to her, and she is going to use Glimpse of a Distant Mirror to look out and listen to the Succubus Club and see if we can figure out what's going on.
Well, now. Most people gather around for Netflix and chill, and it's usually just a couple, sometimes throuple or quadrangle of associates who all find each other interesting. The motley gathers for Mirroture, and while each of them finds themselves interesting enough, there is something extraordinarily voyeuristic about what is unfolding. The mirror at the Succubus gets the opportunity of seeing, well, that specific mirror gets the opportunity of seeing, well, so many things. There is a, how to describe, a very tall, pale individual who is clearly biracial Asian and Caucasian. He has an undercut, and he meets with a shorter, older gentleman, clearly of some Caribbean roots, often seen wearing a head covering or a kufi. They exchange plots and plans. There's the glimpse of Kira and Hazel stalking those two. There's the brief flickering past of Harmony as she and Harmony knows his name as Brett seem to reach an understanding. Seem to be as if she's paid for her time and efforts in whatever it is that she's been doing for him. There's the bartender and Hazel spending more and more time in each other's immediate presence. Nothing overt as, a friendly hug from a distance or anything like that, but they're constantly exchanging looks or a handshake or a pat on the back, a stepping out for a cigarette or two or three or a half hour's worth. And then the piece de resistance, the center stage, as it were. Aurora arriving separately, and hands being held as she eases from view, crossing the mirror's path and line of sight off into the maze. Turning a few moments later, her true face, her mien, visible. And instead of a response of fear or people being curious, over the next few hours, which are passing quick one after the other, there are other faces that appear in the crowd, other members of the Changeling sect. Because that's what it's become. First, it starts with you four, various times, some more often than others. Then there's a few additional faces, a few additional easily discernible changeling amongst the crowd, and that number grows over the next few days, over the next few weeks. And the last you're able to see of that particular mirror is tonight. And the blonde, the woman who took you to her gallery, is there. And it's clear that she doesn't belong down there in the maze. You haven't seen her down there in the maze except for twice. She meets with Odin. They are sitting down at a table together. A tall boy, one of the cocktail tables out there in the center of the floor, just out of range of the mosh pit that's always going on. And they're conversing. Him leaning forward and gesticulating with his hands, painting some picture there before her eyes, and her knowingly watching him. The sort of thing that everyone knows that everybody else is cheating, and it's not so much as catching them cheating, but catching them cheating in a way that you can prove without being caught cheating yourself. And the matter of 3 weeks, in roughly 30 minutes, is viewed and viewable.
So I'm torn between not leaving her here like this and also that maybe she needs some privacy.
Awkward as this is, I don't think it's a good idea to leave her.
No.
Didn't you make a deal with that blonde goddess lady about this very thing?
No, it's only running interference with what's his name that was, doting on you.
Isn't this the same guy? I mean, maybe it's not. It's not like I have a picture of him or anything. But when I asked if it was the guy with the mullet, somebody giggled.
I don't think it was the same guy. Mine, long, dark hair, very tall, very broad. I feel better now. Sorry.
I would say you do.
I don't... Succubus is a bad place for us. Because I don't know whether we're addicted to it or it's addicted to us. Maybe both.
So what do we do about it?
Does anyone have a mantle of less than 2?
Does a mantle of 0 count?
It does.
Oh, a mantle of 1. Never mind. I found it on the sheet.
At 1, being the essence of your court, at that first all-consuming level, much of the history of how the courts came into being, the seasonal courts came into being. There are other courts out there in the world, and some of their agents are here in the freehold of Chicago. However, the courts here are 100% seasonal as to those knights and liege lords that hold sway. At Mantle 1, the understanding of the history and how the summer court came into being is important, because summer, unlike winter, unlike autumn, is all about wrath. It's all about striking out directly and engaging in massive conflicts at the least provocation, at holding on to every grudge as if it is in fact a holy crusade. And the reason why that's a issue, why that's foremost on the mind, is that even with winter holding sway in the Midwestern freeholds, lip service is paid, contracts are still in order, and while there is a spring monarch on the throne of the freehold, being the voice that matters as far as the keepers are concerned, as far as Arcadia is concerned, not the boots on the ground, the political that's happening night to night, day to day. Spring is the court of desire. Spring is the court of love anew. Spring is the court of being wanted and wanting. And as of today, as of now, the power that has been being built is all about being wanted and wanting. It is about the very essence of desire. It is the fuel behind the currency of what you all are as a whole. And over the last few weeks, while you've all been held in dream, while you've all been dismayed and swayed by living the dream, someone else, something else, has been helping you all become drawn into the life of the succubus. Something else has been attempting to ghostwrite the story of your existences. Something else has been pushing you towards staving off the full weight of winter. Winter is the court of desire. It's also the court of deception and mystery, keeping the left hand from ever knowing what the right hand is doing, by hiding that hope and flame of life behind all manner of hidden and invisible gates, making it hard to discern the truth, making it impossible to effectively hunt you all. That contract is over. That promise is over. Right now, on the throne of the freehold, in full control of what happens now, is a court built around the idea of hiding from the keepers through being desired and desiring the lives of their dreams and the mortals around them. And someone pushed, manipulated, cajoled, and made it considerably more obvious to the denizens of the succubus that you all were things most delicious, building in a desire for you and a want of you with the denizens of the succubus.
Well, I guess the first step, get her out of here, and then we can figure out everything else.
Agreed.
Does he have your phone number?
I don't think so. I think we just run into each other whenever I go to the succubus and he just comes home with me. But I only see him at night, so is that a vampire thing?
Check your phone for you up texts.
She'll check.
Something should not be found. Some truth should not be laid bare. Swiping open your phone, there is a very close-up picture of lips against your neck. There's as the home screen. You didn't realize that it was there because you didn't bother to unlock your phone when Hazel called you. But those lips are well known to you, as is your neck. That's your necklace there at the bottom of the screen, underneath the little folder with all of your games there in the bottom left. Swiping into your messages, the very first top one is officer. That's all it says, officer. And it doesn't make any sense, so you, without looking through the text, because there's several pages of them there, You go over to your contacts for officer and inadvertently accidentally tap the ringtone. And it's a Lil Wayne song. And while you're not really against hip-hop or for hip-hop one way or the other, it's just music. It is a very well-known Lil Wayne song to you. It starts playing. Wee, wee, wee. And you shut it down before it gets to the lyrics because you know what that song actually is.
I had a character I don't remember. I'm sure I do.
1 second, I'll get you the link.
At least it wasn't Lollipop. Meanwhile, while I wait for the link, it's, she looks at officer? I don't normally like cops. That's weird. I didn't know vampires could be cops. Did you know vampires could be cops? That's really strange. I mean, like, what do they do when they have to have a day shift?
I mean, strippers are cops, so.
Yeah, but I mean, if you keep having to like dance around stuff, I kind of feel like you were a werewolf, and you had to ask off for every full moon. Like, how do you explain that shit?
Medical condition?
I guess. Maybe. But still. I mean, maybe handcuffs, I guess. I don't know. I still don't understand why I would pick a cop, of all things.
I mean, just because it's an officer, does that necessarily mean he's a cop?
Well, at least one of us has been having fun during this daydream. Anyone else know what they've been doing?
Apparently shopping and taking out the trash.
I think Aurora is winning.
I don't know if it's exactly winning to be somehow addicted to something that could kill me, and then other people knowing that I exist, but not doing anything on the fact that I exist, because you know keepers are a thing. And I don't know why I haven't been caught yet, because this sounds like the 4th or 5th time that I've just walked around the club like this.
You and half a dozen others.
Wait, what? Me and who?
I don't know. Apparently, we started going there more often.
This all has
But,
something to do with Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, he was sitting there talking to Lenore at the club. Too far away for me to hear what they were saying.
You don't think he's pimping us out, do you?
125%.
I want my fucking cut.
125%. As the very mention of Mr. Wednesday comes into focus, the realities you've all managed to live and the dream you all were stuck in, the dream walking you've all been doing, is a sort of observation someone who believes themselves smarter than they are would usually pick up on. They'd immediately assume, based on their own biases, the relationship between Kira and Hazel was more than simple understanding and friendship. They'd immediately perceive the ice warrior that is Harmony would seek warmth and connection from someone only they could trust. They would immediately believe that someone as bright and shining as Harmony would need the attention of others. It's the armchair psychology and back alley understanding of human connection that's at the heart of every bit of your sleepwalking. Domestic tranquility, love and adoration, attention, all things that could be easily viewed from a distance and potentially used as weapon against others. Because no matter how close to actually being right, there is a level of wrongness that can never be overcome by not being the person whose dreams you are forced into. It's the sort of brilliant psychology and tactical thinking that you'd expect of a berserker, of a trickster, someone who understands just enough to use as a weapon. While you've all been trapped in a dream, while you've all been sleepwalking through your existences, while you've all been living the dream, he has, as ever, been poking and pushing towards his goal. Using, well, the impossible aspect of helping to write the story, to ghost write the way things should turn out. And Harmony, being the only person who directly opposed him instead of finding their own way out through their own psyche, felt a presence pushing against her, felt a presence fighting against her escaping the dream. She didn't turn inward to escape, she turned out. She faced what was out there in the darkness, just beyond easy discernible sight. And what was out there is Mr. Wednesday.
I think he did this. I think he's behind it. I don't know how he's directed our sleeping actions, but
That would make sense. Dreams are not necessarily my area of expertise.
mine either. Kind of just makes you want to go stab his ass.
Sounds like a good plan. I think you should follow through on that. And as contemplation of what to do about someone or anyone who's able to manipulate not only you as individuals, living, breathing things, beings of your own agency, but to twist and poke and tease and tantalize by attempting to use your hopes against you. To attempt to use your happiness or potential happiness as a shackle to manipulate you through what should be your sanctuary and your sanctity, by fattening you all up like Christmas Day hogs, giving you more than enough opportunity to soak in the glamour of those around you, to give you more than enough opportunity for you to remain at peace, instead of attacking you directly, defiling what should be making you stronger, what should be keeping you safe, by locking you into his idea of what your perfect dream could be or should be. It is worse than stabbing someone in the back. It is worse than wasting someone's time. It is all the worse because he used joy, peace, security as weapons of casual mass destruction and distraction. And as that truth sits there before the motley, as each deals with what that means for them and to them, individually and as a whole, I'd like to say thank you all for a lovely episode. I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night all.
Good night.